Hey everyone. So I was sort of playing around the other day just with some components that I have, and I came up with something really quite pretty. So let me just show you. I came up with these earrings, and I really like them. I think they're so pretty. These little kind of twisted beads came from my bead box, one of the dollar bead boxes. Can't remember which month it was in, but I really like these beads a lot, and I wasn't really too sure what I was going to do with them. But anyway, I made these, and I thought they were pretty spectacular. And I wanted to play around with them just a little bit more and see what else I could do with these, and how else I could change them up a little bit, because I thought, you know, if I'm going to do this as a video, and that's the video we're going to do today, I wanted to just also make sure that people were going to be able to do this as well. So I'll leave those there, and I'll show you the other one that I made. I haven't got the ear hook on it just yet, but this one I just fell absolutely in love with. Move those guys over a little bit so you can see them a little bit better. And I'm going to turn on my light. I hope that will... Ooh, there we go. It's a little bit better on the brightness scale. But yeah, I really thought that, you know, you can use anything. You don't have to use these twisty beads on here. I've got this dagger. It's kind of hard to see the color, but it's really beautiful. It's a very dark red. It's this same color red, but it's a bit deeper, and then it's got some turquoise in it, like very dark, dark turquoise in it. And I have had these little beads here that I got from Bead FX, I believe they are. But you can use anything you want. In fact, I kind of wish I would have used one of the leaves inside here to hang from. I might actually have to take this apart anyway, because I'm not happy with how this thing hangs, so I may just take this apart and stick a leaf in there anyway. Let me show you another earring that I made based on this. So I did this earring as well, and I did this from another YouTube channel called Seed Beaded Bliss, and that's probably where I got these teardrop shapes from. I'll find it and try to put a link down below there so you can actually see where to get these if you want these. But you don't have to have these the teardrop things. These would work as well with a round hoop, and that's another example right there, a little dream catcher hoop earring. But you could do this same design with that hoop. You could either put a smaller drop in there or get a bigger hoop, whatever. It would all work really, really well. So I'm going to show you how to make this one today. So let me come back with a list of things that we're going to be using, and we'll get started. Okay, so what are we going to need here? Let me just move that out of the way for the time being. So I've got these little leaves here, and the hole goes through side to side, whereas on this one the holes just go up and down. And sorry about my shadows, but my light outside is really fading, so I'll try to keep the shadows at bay if I can. But so these ones you can actually just sort of put on just like a fringe, so it's actually fairly straightforward and easy. And then these guys may be just a little bit different. So those are this beautiful lava speckled red almost, and then if you choose to use a dagger, you can put a dagger in. Otherwise you can do another one of these, which, you know, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to see what it looks like, because I think I have to take that other earring apart anyway. So I will probably throw one of those inside and see which one I like better. And then I got these daggers. These are the autumnal stroll from beadfx.com. I really like that mix. It is so pretty. All right, so that dagger I'll get rid of for now. So we need our leaves. Got 4 of them. You can do as many as you want on there. You don't have to stick to 4. You can really fringe it out if you like. I'm going to be using 2 different size needles. For the most part, I find doing this project with my size 11 sharp, the shorter needle, seems to be working best for me. And then this is quite a thin needle. This is a Pony brand size 12, I think, and I'm not in love with it. So I only use this because I can't get through the wire guard, or the wire guard, with anything other than this. So I need this to go through there. So we need the wire guard, we need our ear hook, and whatever you're going to use, if it's a teardrop or if it's a round or oval, whatever shape that you can get your hands on. The thread that I'm using is a red, and this is just a Miyuki beading thread, and and this works out really quite nice, especially for the fringing. I have my thread burner as well as a pair of scissors handy. And then I have got some opaque brick red size 15 Miyuki. I've got another size 15, a dark bronze. And then for kind of the main part of it, I've got a metallic light bronze size 11 Delicas. So that's all we're going to need. I'm going to pull my bead tray forward and let's get started. Okay, so for this project, I'm going to do a complete wingspan of this red thread here, the red Miyuki. And remember, that is fingertip to fingertip. So with this thread, I'm actually going to stretch it out. You know, I'm really not very happy with that shadow that's coming down, but I'll see if I can make this work anyway, and I'll just keep my hands low so I don't create too much shadow effect. Hopefully anyway. Okay, so I'm going to thread my needle. So I'm going to pick up a bead. I'm going to catch it on my desk. I'm going to slide this down. I'm going to hold it underneath my frame, and I want the thread to go through. I'm going to hold that down, and I'm going to put my needle back down, going towards the tail through that bead. I'm just going to shorten that tail a little bit. I don't need it to be super long. All right. So this is the first couple beads you put on are going to be really difficult. So I will pick up another bead. And what I do is I just hold it with my thumb and forefinger as I pull the needle through. So I can hold it to the bottom of the frame. And you'll see the thread is coming out the top. So whichever way the thread is coming out, I'm going to put my needle back down that way. I really hope that the shadows are not going to be too distracting here. Okay, and then I just want to pull those two together. So this, yes, is brick stitch. I know I can't seem to get away from doing brick stitch. It's bizarre. So let's do that again. I'm going to pick up another one, and I'm going to go through, and I'm going to come back down. Now, one of the things that I'm going to do, or that I did on the last, I've made a few of these actually, as you can tell from the few I've shown you, but I'm using this tail as my marker because I've got a certain count that is going to go around here. And what I want to do is from this tail thread, I want to count 9 beads, and I want the 9th bead to be exactly below that little peak right there. So let me come in just a tiny bit closer so I can show you one more time what I'm doing here. And then I'll turn the camera off for a bit and I will finish a little bit of this. So I'm going to pick up another bead. I'm going to lay my needle down there, pinch the bead and hold it with my thumb and forefinger. I want the needle to go behind the frame. I'm going to pull, hold onto my thread, and now I'm going to put my needle back down in a downward position, and we'll pull and let it snug up against that frame. All right, so I'm going to put on, when I get to 9 beads, I'll show you what it looks like. And then, okay, let me zoom out a tiny bit here. You don't need to be quite so close. All right, so I've got my 9 beads here, and hopefully you can tell that this, being the 9th bead, is not directly underneath the center. Let me just lay it down there. So this bead is offset from the center. But thankfully these beads will slide around, and all I have to do is I need to just slide them along the frame, and they slide very easily, and then I can decide. Oh, there we go. So that's pretty much in the center, like that. So now I've got them in the center. Now I'm going to continue going around. And once I get to about this spot, I'll show you what I do next. I've got a few more beads that I can add onto that end. I've moved my light around a bit too, so hopefully that will get rid of most of the shadow stuff. So I'll just show you one more time. I got my bead on my needle, and I'm going to put it underneath the frame. I'm going to hold on to the bead and just pull. I'm going to hold that thread, and I'm going to put my needle back down through the top of that bead. So this is just, as I said, brick stitch in a bit of a different way. And we're going to pull. Pick up another one. I don't like working quite this close to the camera or having such a close-up, but I think it's important to see this. And down. And in a moment, this is where I'll be swapping needles as well. So you'll kind of see how that bead is going to get pulled up just a little bit there. And just like any brick stitch, I don't want things to be all crowded in here. So I might just pull that up even a little bit more. Before I do that, I'm going to count my 9 beads and make sure I'm still in the center. So that's my 9th bead, and let's just see. Yeah, it's still pretty much in the center there. And what I did is I kind of spaced the beads out a little bit more. So this one's kind of really almost on top there, and that's what we want. And I'm going to turn this towards me. I'll pick up another bead. And it's the same thing. I'm going to go through the back, holding on to my bead in place, and might have to pull it back down there on the other side. And then once again, I'm going to take my needle back through. Now I want to secure this side a little bit. Okay, so pick up one more bead to go over on this side. I'm going to hold on to that, pull through, back down. All right, so I've got these 2 at the very top are sort of equally spaced, and that's really all I want. So from this one, I'm coming out of the top of this one, I'm going to go back down through here. And now this is where I'm going to fix sort of the mistake that I had made from the other one. Now this one's going to sit a little bit weird for a bit And don't worry about that. It'll be fine once you continue on again. So what I've done is I've taken some metallic chocolate, size 11, and I'm going to use that up in here, and I think it should sit better. So I'm coming out the bottom of this one here, that's close to the top, and I'm going to kind of just push these guys all around a little bit. I want them to be very even. All right, so what I found was with the other way that I had done this was I was using 2 15s in here and it really crowded everything. So I'm going to try it with one size 8. And I'm going to mimic what I did on this side here a little bit. So I'm picking up my one size 8. And then I'm going to pick up, let me see, I'll pick up 3 of the red 15s. 2 of my delicas, 1 red, 2 delicas. So I've got 3 red, 2 delicas, 1 red, 2 delicas, and then I'm going to take 5 of my bronze 15s. And then I'll pick up 1 of these. So let's just see what's on the needle here. So there is size 11 bronze, 3 15 red, 2 delica bronze, a red, 2 delica bronze, and then 5 15 bronze. So now I'm going to pick up 3 more 15s. And I'm going to skip those 3 there. And I'm going to come all the way back up here. Okay. And now I'm coming out of, all right, hang on to that. Okay, so I'm coming down this one here. I'm going to go up this one on this side, like that. And I'm going to pull tight. Now I'm going to flip it over. So I want to go back down through all of these beads. Now this isn't necessarily to reinforce, but I just want it to hang in the center. Okay. And we'll pull that nice and snug. I'm going to go through those 3. I'll go through there. If I can get in there. Now I'm going to come back up. Those 3. Okay, and then I'm going to go back up. All of these guys. My size 11. Okay, you have to do this a bit at a time. Bit of a challenge for me here. Go up. There we go. Now I've got it. And I just want to pull that nice and tight. Now I'm going to come back up that bead right there. Now I can put on my wire guard right now, which is what I did last time, but I think instead I'm going to wait until I put on the picot edge. I think that's when I'll do it. So what I need to do now is I'll go down this one right there. I'll come through the hoop. Try not to catch that guy. And then I'll come back up this one on the other side here. And then that way I don't have to worry about catching thread bridges. Alrighty. Okay, so now I can continue adding on my Miyuki Delicas. I'm going to keep going until I get almost to the end here, and I'll be right back. All right, so I have got about one more bead that I can put on there. So I will pick that up. This tail can be a little bit of a pain, but just hold it out of your way as best you can. So put on my last bead. And we'll come through. And definitely that tail is in the way. Now I have to be careful that this loop doesn't go over top of the bead beside it, because it certainly can. All right. So where my tail is coming out is the very first bead I put on. And where my working thread is coming out is the very last bead I put on. So what I want to do is, again, I'm going to get my tail out of the way. So I'm coming out of my last bead towards me. I'm now going to go through my very first bead. Because I want to pull those two together. And then I'll come back up my last bead that I had put on. So those two are now attached to one another. So I need to be coming out of this bead. So I'm going to go back down it, through the loop, and then I'm going to turn that and I'll come back up the other side. There we go. Yeah, it's hanging quite nicely. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to put on a picot edge. And here's how I'll do that. I'll come in a tiny bit closer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up 3 of my red 15s. All right, so I have 3 on my needle. Now, move my tail. So I'm coming out of this bead here. I'm going to go down the bead beside it. So you see how my thread's coming out there? I'm going to go down the bead beside that. And that will spread this little picot over 2 beads. And then, so I'm coming out of this bead, I'm going to come back towards me over 1 bead. So the next bead over, I'll come back up towards me. And pull. And I'll pick up 3 more. And once again, so I'm coming out of this bead, I'll go down the bead beside that. So I want to do this 3 times. Make sure those are going to sit right. And then come back up the next bead beside it, back towards myself. So I'm just putting a little picot trim on as I go. One more time. Back into the bead beside it. Make those behave a little better. Okay, and then come back out beside. So now this will get us kind of close to where we need to be, because there's our center bead there. So what I'm going to do now is I will pick up 3 red beads. So 1, 2, 3. 3 of my red 15s. I'll pick up 2 of my delicas. Let's pull those all together. Okay, so I have that so far. And now I'm going to pick up 5 of my bronze 15s. Okay, just like that. So that's what I'll have. Now I'm going to pick up 1 of my leaves. and I will pick up, just like I did in the center, 3 more of these bronze. Okay, and we'll slide everybody down right there. And that's what you should have. So I'm going to skip these 3, this one and these 3, and I'm going to go up all of these beads and then just up 2 of my red 15s. I'm not going to come up all of them. I'm going to leave that one there. So I'm going to pull, put my finger on and just pull everything up. Hold on to the leaf and pull it all nice and tight. And then I'm going to pick up 1 more red 15. Now, I was coming out of this bead right here. I'm going to go up the bead beside it, just like that. And then that kind of puts sort of a picot fringe sort of thing on there. Pretty simple. Now, I will come back down the bead beside it, and this is our center bead. Oh, got a tangle in there up here. So now we're going to pick up, once again, 3 of these guys. We'll pick up 2 delicas, a red 15, 2 delicas, and then 5 bronze, and then my leaf, 3 bronze, slide those down, and now I'm going to skip three leaf and 3, but this time though I'm going to go all the way up because I'm only going to be using that middle bead, so this will be like a regular fringe you've seen me do. So just all the way back up the center there like that, and pull. I'll just sort this guy out a little bit. Make sure they're sitting equally, those beads. And now I'm going to go down the bead beside this one, and I will put on the fringe, the final fringe, in the same way. Show you one more time just doing that. So 3 of these 15s, 2 delica, and 5 bronze. Slide those on, pick up my leaf bead, and pick up 3 more bronze. Get that guy out of the way because it's annoying. And now I'm going to skip those 3 there, like that. So it's going to go up through those 2 bronze, the 2 delicas, and 2 of the red 15s, leaving that other one there near the top. Put my finger on, grab the leaf so I could snug it up to the top there. Now I'm going to pick up 1 more red bead, and I'm going to go up through that delica right there beside where this one's coming out, and pull. And there's the fringe put on. You could do this any way you like. I mean, you could totally fringe out on this if you wanted. You could put a lot of fringes in there. You could even do like coral fringing with no beads on at all. You could just, well, I mean, drop beads. You could just use regular beads and do a coral beading or whatever you wanted. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to continue doing this picot edge here. All right, so I'm going to pick up 3 of my red. So again, I'm coming out of this bead. I'm going to go down the bead beside it. All right, so I'm going to keep doing this until I get close to the top, and I'll be right back and show you what to do next. What can happen here is sometimes you don't end up with the right number of beads here to be able to get all of your picots. So I've got one little lone one here, a single one out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up that one. And I don't want to put any on these 2 here because I'm going to be adding the wire guard, so I don't want to put any on there. But all I'm going to do, and nobody's going to ever notice this, is I'm just going to put on 1 bead. And then I'm going to go straight back down the exact same one that I just came out of. Now here's where I need to change my needle to a thinner one in a moment. But I'm going to go up this top one here. So there's these 2 at the peak, and that's where we're going to add our wire guard. So I'm going to swap needles and I'll be right back. Our ear guard. And what I do is I want to really secure this well, so I like to go over it twice. So first I'm going to pick up my ear guard in one channel. I'm going to pull it down, and then I want to make sure that it sits on top in between these 2 beads here. So I'll come back down, have to hold on to it. And then go back down. So I'm coming out of, let me grab a shorter needle here. So I'm coming out of this bead, I'm going up and around and coming back down the bead beside it. And then I'll come back up this bead again. But let's put this, let's at least get this guy on for now. And you want that thread to go right in that little channel. And I'm going to come back up one more time. And I'm just coming through the bead for now because it's kind of hard to get into the channel as well. All right. And now I'm going to go back up through the wire guard. And I'm pulling kind of snug. I want this to sit in there nicely. And now I'm going to pick up some beads to go around that. So I'll pick up 7 of these. Okay, so I've picked up 7 of my bronze 15s. So I'm going to come back down this side of the wire guard. And then if I can, I'll also go down that delica one more time. Looks like I was able to do that. I'm just going to pull gently here. And I'll usually put my fingers there so I can guide everything into the channel. And I think that looks quite nice. So I'm going to come up one more time just to secure everything a little bit better. Okay, so I'm coming out of the delica just below this part of the wire guard. So I'm going to go back up the delica next to it. There we go. And then I'm going to take this needle off because it's just going to drive me crazy. It's really, really floppy for me. It's great with other jewelry projects, but this one, it's terrible. So now I've already counted to make sure that I can actually do all of this equally. So what that means is that there's an even number from here up to here. So this side will all work out perfectly evenly. So I'm going to continue putting the picots on this side, and when I'm done, I'll meet you back. Okay, so I've just put my last 3 on for my final picot. which is going to go right here, down. And what I need to do now is I want to tie some knots here. So this may be a little bit difficult for you to see, but I'll try my best. So I'm going to get that out of the way. So I'm underneath this delica bead here. And what I'm going to do is I will come underneath the thread bridge that is just below that delica. So you can see the thread crossing the needle. So that bridge is, you can see these little red threads along the perimeter of the component. So I'm just going to grab one of those threads and I'm going to pull. And you know, you don't have to do an awful lot of knots here. You really don't. So I'm going to go through that loop once and twice. And I'm going to put my finger there to steady everything, and I'm going to pull that knot hard. And then I'm going to bring my needle back up and through. And I'm going to come back up. Just one of those little beads is fine. And I'm quite happy with that because we've actually done an awful lot of sort of backing and forthing on that one. And now I'll just cut that. I put my needle onto the tail end here, and I'm coming out of this bead right here. So I'm going to go up through this picot, and I'm going to come down the next bead over. And I'm going to just do the same thing that I did for over here when I ended up my working thread. I'm just going to go through that thread bridge that is on the frame here. Grab my needle. I know my fingers are in the way. So there we go. There's my little loop. So I'll go through once and twice. And then we're just going to pull, hold my fingers there close by. And I'm actually going to put on, did that not take? Yes, it did. Okay, so now I'm going to go back up the bead and pull that knot up inside. And now I can clip this. Yeah, so I do like both of them. I really think they're both very, very pretty. And I would use either one of them. I really would. This one I will redo because you can hopefully see her here. I just put 6 little beads along here, and there's actually space for one more there. So it looks a little bit funny. And then I don't like the way this is sitting off to the side. And the reason why it's sitting off to the side is on this one, I did my picots. I did my brick stitch first, then I added this on, then I kept brick stitching, did my picots, added that, did picots here, and then I added that wire guard on, and it made it more stable. On this one, I did my brick stitch, and then I did this part here, the dangle, and then I added this on. And then I went back down and up, and it just never sat properly. Then I continued on. So so this one is just, it's really on there so much more firmly. This one's pretty, like really quite floppy. This one's a whole lot more firm, sitting up there on the top like that. So I am going to redo this one, and like I say, you can you could even have this as a dagger and then daggers down there, or do it exactly the way I have. You could do some nice coraling down on the bottom. Sky's the limit. There's all kinds of things that you could actually do here to make beautiful earrings. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I will see what we can come up with next time. Till then, thanks a lot for watching, and if you like what I do, please give me that thumbs up. please subscribe, and if there's a project you want to see me make in the future, give me some ideas and I'd be happy to see if I can make that work for you. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.